again everyone and welcome to another episode of Beards and Board Games with me, Georgie. Today I'm going to be reviewing Sheriff of Nottingham, the 3 to 5 player deceptive lying bluffing card game where you're trying to sneak items in past the sheriff. Each player gets 2 turns at becoming the sheriff unless it's a 3 player game where you have to take out a numerous number of cards and then you play the sheriff 3 times. However, in a 4 to 5 player game, each player gets 2 turns at being the sheriff where you get to threaten and interrogate each player while holding their sack of goods and saying, is it really this? Is it really this? Where other players are either being completely honest and sneaking in the standard goods that the people of Nottingham need, or they're sneaking in contraband which isn't supposed to be there, in which case if you're the sheriff you get some money, but if you're sneaking in legal goods and the sheriff decides you search your band, he's due you some cash as an apology. Let's go and take a look at Sheriff of Nottingham. Okay, as you can see, each player will get his own player board. That's just to keep track of how many chickens, cheese, apples and breads that you have. You just keep them laid out at the side here so everyone else can see. And you also keep face down at the top. You'll keep the contraband that you sneak in. I'll show you the cards in a second. You'll see that each player board also has his own nice velvety feel plastic kind of snap bag. So like obviously this is the snap. Once that's open, that's when you've got to check the bag. We'll go through more of the rules in a second though. The one thing I would say again about some of the component quality is it's really awesome, but some of them are really tight to open and close and you fear a little bit of breakage. So yeah, that's one of the downfalls of the component quality. You also see, I don't know if you can see here because it's quite small, there's a gold and silver notch at each of the items, so bread, chicken, cheese, apples. And that's just whoever has the most gets 20 points at the end, and whoever has the least gets a 10, and that's of the apples, and then the points vary throughout, but gold one's the most, silver's the second most, so that's just some extra points that you can score at the end there. Now I think we should go and take a look at the cards. Okay, kind of neat. You get like a nice removable tray from the box as well, so that you get to keep all your money or tokens in. Technically it's gold money in this game, so there's 50s, 20s, 5s and 1s, and you'll start the game with 120, 5 5s and 5 1s, accounting to 50 all in all. Okay, you'll see here there's also a nifty little card holder tray thing that comes with the game. At the start of the game, you'll obviously make sure that all these cards, there's a lot of them, are all shuffled thoroughly, and that you deal 6 into each side, so 6 into the right side and 6 into the left side face up, and each player at any time can have a look through to see the order in which these are in, because as part of your turn you can draw cards and you can choose to whether draw from here or from here. I'll go into that in a bit more detail later. So just thought I'd show you this quick card holder too before I show you the cards. Okay, you'll also see, looking at the cards here, that there are green cards and red cards. The red cards are the contraband, and the green cards are all the legal goods that you take in. You see that each card has a victory point value or gold value for how much it's worth once you've got it into Nottingham, and also a sort of like a negative, so when the sheriff catches you bringing in goods that you... So if the sheriff searches this when you say you've got 5 bread and turns out you do have 5 bread, then he's due you 2 for every bread that you've taken in, because the sort of failure... I'm trying to think of the exact term for that, but I'll come back to that in a second. So these are the other cards. You've got bread, chickens, apples and cheese as the legal goods, and there's more contraband in this, but I'll just go through some silk. So here's some silk, mead, golden apples and pepper. And you might think, oh, why is golden apples a contraband? To be honest, you might think, why is pepper a contraband as well? But why is golden apples a contraband? Because they're the king's goods, so that's why they've got a golden symbol there. So they again are worth more than your average apples, or smarter than your average bear. However, they also count as 3 apples at the end of the game when you're seeing who has the most apples. So they add like just a little bit of an extra rule there. So that's some of the cards that you'll get in the game. Okay, at the start of the game, one player will be selected to be the sheriff. I would stand him up, but it might be hard to see because it's a down view, and also because when mine stands, he's rather floppy and falls over quite a lot. It's not a very good stand, to be honest. So the second letdown of the component quality, but that is the only 2. Okay, each player will pick a coloured border and the matching coloured sack, and they will also be dealt 6 cards from the deck. You can look at those cards and then decide to put some back and draw that many from either here or here or here. But once you decide to take some from here, you have to take all of them from here. You can't take any more from any there. So again, you can look at the order in which these are put in to decide whether you want to draw from this one or that one to try and get to a certain card. But also it's pretty obvious if you're trying to haul contraband when you're taking them straight off the top here, if that's what you're after. Okay, once the players, apart from the sheriff, have decided which cards that they're going to, once they've decided which cards they're going to put back and then draw more of, they'll have a deck of 6, and then they'll have a look at the cards and decide which cards they're going to try and smuggle in, or just be completely honest and take in to Nottingham in this turn. So say for example, I decided to try and take in these 2 contraband with these 2 bread. So the rule is when you're smuggling items, or taking items. I'm going to keep saying smuggling because that's what I like to do. But when you're taking items, you take the number of cards that you want to take, you put them into your coloured sack, you snap that sack closed, and when you hand them to the sheriff, you must declare the exact number of cards that's in here, but you must declare them all as one legal good. So, for instance, I'm going to have to say this is 4 bread, sheriff. Okay, so once the sheriff on that turn has all the sacks and people have declared everything that he's handing to them, again, it must be the right number of cards and you must only declare legal goods. The sheriff has around about a minute each player. It is just an average time, or what's what we do in our group, but it is completely up to you. Around about a minute each player to interrogate all the players in whatever order he wants, and he can go back and forward, so we just average it about 3 minutes and try and catch the people who are smuggling contraband in. And that's the whole aim of the game. Because if you catch people who are smuggling contraband, then the sheriff is going to be quite rich, because they're going to due you a fine because they're smuggling contraband into Nottingham. However, if you are the one smuggling contraband in and you get caught, you're then due that amount of money to the sheriff. So then you become kind of poorer, and he doesn't get the contraband. The contraband then goes back into the discard piles that I showed you in whatever order the sheriff wants them to go in. So when it's the sheriff's turn, he can say, "Oh well, I'm going to open this one because obviously you said this had 4 cheese in it," and then obviously I remember, no, I didn't say 4 cheese. I said there's 4 bread in here. Get that right, sheriff. So the sheriff goes, "Well, I think I'm going to open it anyway and see what's in it." You do have the capability to say, "Well, just before you do, I would like to say that I would maybe just give you a little bit of coin on the underside if you just let me go through with this sack either way." And again, it's up to the sheriff to decide whether he wants to take this coin, keep it for himself, and let them pass, or open it and in fact see what they've been smuggling into Nottingham this turn. So if I just say, "Okay, well, I'm not taking your bribe. However, I see, okay, looky here. Some mead, some silk, and 2 bread. So you can keep your bread, like you said you had. However, the mead and the silk, you're due me 8 coins for those. So cough up the bucks, please." And that's the main aim of the game. Once everyone's over, you decide who you're going to open, who you're not going to open. They take their cards, put them beside their player mats, and the sheriff rotates, like I said, twice, or in a 2-player game it rotates 3 times. So guys, my opinions on the Sheriff of Nottingham. I love it! I super love this game. Honestly, this is probably the best bluffing and deceptive card game that I've played. Not because there's super amounts of mechanics or lots and lots of theme to it, but because when I play it, I have a super amounts of fun. I laugh, everyone laughs, sometimes we laugh almost to the point where we cry. We just have a really, really good time. 4 to 5 player games, awesome. 3 player games, just as awesome. It's just super fun. A real good laugh. That's my opinion on Sheriff of Nottingham. Guys, let me know down below what you think of Sheriff of Nottingham. Is it a bluffing or card game? A bluffing game, a deceptive game that you prefer much more than this? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video as always, and follow me at Beers and Boards on Twitter. Otherwise, I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Catch you guys later. This episode was sponsored by GamesLore, the UK's largest specialist games retailer, which can be found at gameslore.com.